Okay, radio fans, boys and girls, uh, here's the switcher we've been talking about on email. If you've been following me on YouTube here, you'll know that we've been doing this to help out some of the smaller broadcast stations and even some of the bigger ones, I guess. But this is also finding a place now in ham radio and shortwave scanner people. So let's get into it right away. It's basically a switcher. And what it does is it monitors up to 3 audio sources. In the case of broadcasting, I've got one in a box now. This is the prototype here. It's all hand wired and kind of neat, kind of, sort of. But the second version was a much better job. I keep the prototype so I can do further testing and make mods as the customer requires. So let's get this on here so we can see what's going on. Basically, what it does is it takes, in the case of a broadcaster, it'll take the console feed and allow anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds of delay in modulation on the carrier, AM or FM, doesn't matter. As soon as the carrier goes empty in its steady state, this thing will start counting and switch over to the emergency backup so that you don't have dead air. We've got a feed here, so we want to drive everything at about 0 dB, which is about 0.8 volts on a 600 ohm line. And we have an indicator flashing here. This is green right there to tell you that's the active one. Here's the backup ready. It's actually running a program from this SD card. That could be hardwired to start up only when there's a failure or to have it continuously running. This particular card is holding about 10 or 11 hours of pre-programmed music. So we'll get to that in a second. The third module is an emergency thing that we'll keep that at 0 dB. You can see it's amber, which is in standby mode. If it goes active, you'll see it. Once again, the old mantra, red is bad, green is good. So we're looking for green flashing. We're on the air here. Amber on the standby on the backup module, and amber on the emergency alert. So let's let me get in the back here and pull out. I'm going to pull out the feed from the console. Oh, wait a minute. Let me, so you can hear this. I hope you can hear that coming. All right, I'm going to remove it, and don't forget, now we're set at 5 seconds, so here we go. Lost the console. Now watch this light. All right. The console light's flashing red, so you look in the studio, you look through the glass, you see flashing red. Uh-oh, problem time. Here is the backup, in this case, the many hours of oldies. Level feed, we know we're coming in here pretty good at 0 dB on peaks. We can also pull the card. And suppose you have a translator. Well, now it's trying to go to Bluetooth. I could do right from this phone. I could put out on the air my YouTube channel from the station or whatever. And by the way, I've got a Bluetooth extender antenna on top of the unit here. I don't know if you can see that. That runs back here to the an F connector, and then out to a disc cone up on the roof. So, anyhow, we can do Bluetooth, and We can go to FM. Suppose you have a translator on your AMer and you want to just go to your sister station. You got to find it. And you'd want to keep it. You want to keep this on here and always on here if this is the way you want to go. So if the AM transmitter, that big powerful 50,000 watt fails, or in the case of our local guys, 3,000 watt, if that goes out from a lightning strike or something bad happens, maybe a seagull got into the tuning unit, you have your FM translator just rebroadcasting stuff, station rules permitting, that is. So there you have that. And you know what? Let me pause this and hook up the emergency system, because we don't have that connected to the rooftop antenna yet. Be right back. Okay, I said I'd be right back. I put it back on the console. You know, you're operating your radio program and everything's fine. But notice, I better take that out. Let me just take that out of there. It's not very dramatic. We're back on the console. And you can hear a New York flamethrower coming in there. Fine, it's what we're using for our signal. Backup's off because we still have console feed. Over here, emergencies in standby because nothing's going on from the National Weather Service. So let me put that in. Yeah, you can see it switched over, instantly switched over. It's become green flashing active. You notice we can still see the signal on the backup, and we can see the signal from the console, but these lights are dead. Absolutely no light. Nothing here. The green and the amber are out. And we're going from standby here. This module dominates everything. If there's a signal coming in on the emergency alert system, which would be switched by frequency selective filters from the NWS, you know, those raucous rah signals. When it hears that, this happens. All right, I'm going to pull that out, but we're going to watch the console feed now. Watch what happens to the status lights. Little delay. And we're back. Still in standby on the backup. The console feed is good. Okay, a lot of time there. We do some contouring for either monitoring or for recording. If you're going to do that, you can switch in some equalization if you choose to. This is very important. This is a compressor amplifier, and no matter what these signals are coming in, console, backup, NOAA's emergency system, whatever it is, this thing's going to give you 0 dB. And you can see that on the line here. We're holding it 0. If I take that out, well, there you go. Let me pull this console. Now watch. This case, the recorder is set at very low level. The backup system's working. You see the indicator? It's working. I don't hear anything over here. Very little. Not even getting gain indication. So we're way down in dB. Well, don't worry about that, because when you did post-production and you made the CD card, SD card here, or you set the station and your reception may not be that good, just enable the leveler, and there you go. Green means that the signal is so low it has to produce gain, and I think it's around 15 dB it'll do. If the signal is loud enough, you're going to see the compressor kick in and knock off some of the peaks so you don't overdrive your audio. I'm going to crank up the gain here a little, see if we can. That won't do it. We can change the station. Get a louder one, maybe. There we go. There's some things that are coming in a little loud. Well, okay. Anyhow, it's very important. Level compensation. We're producing gain now. Here's clipping. Always 0 dB over to here, providing you set the level control to 0. You get a better shot of that at 0. And it'll try to keep this LED flickering at you. And of course, monitor output. You want to go in and actually hear the on-air signal that's going to the transmitter. That's it. All right, let's take a look at the back of this. All right, we flipped this bad boy over. Got an IEC input for line power. Got 12-volt backup jack. We go over here. We've got, I'm using RCAs. They're going to want XLRs on theirs final version. Or that's what we have on their final version. But they may want these as well. I don't know. Speaker monitor and line feed, which would go to wherever it's going. Recorder or whatever. The emergency alert system could be fed either with mono or stereo RCAs. This is stereo and mono 1/8 inch jack. Backup line in, which could be the SD card, the FM, translator rebroadcast, Bluetooth from my phone, or an external line from a DAC or something, iPod maybe. And here we have binaural stereo left and right, stereo ring tip and sleeve, and mono ring tip and sleeve. And finally, the primary feed from the console. Try to get the lighting here. Same deal, mono, stereo, and left, right. Okay? All right, now let's take a look inside this monster. Here's all the jacks, all mounted to a copper ground plane. I didn't see any need for a metal chassis here. I've been testing for RFI, and I'm really not getting anything in here bad. So we used a plastic case. If they want metal, I'll build them a metal one. Inputs with a plastic cover because you don't want to get 110 in a good substantial power supply transformer. Regulated 12 volts out. Here's the compressor circuit. This will amplify anything from a few millivolts, get that millivolts, all the way up to, I don't know, I tested it up at 7, 8, or 9 volts. So we're talking about a wide dynamic range. I'm using 3 NPNs. In this case, they're 3904s. And everything's working fine. It's an amazing circuit. This is the CBIC circuit, if you want to look it up online. It'll take anything you get, give it way below 0 dB or way above 0 dB, and give you 0 dB out regardless, no matter what you do to the input. Of course, I can inhibit or enable it here. Tone compensation board, it's nothing more than a Baxen doll type circuit. Here's the business end of it. I'm using optos to switch between the console and the backup feed. And we're using opto relays with transistor switches. I'll get into that in a minute. They will, depending on their state, high or low, power these relays, which determine what comes out on the on the line out over here. And of course over here all the LED driver circuits. Here is the module for the you see that takes the TF card, SD card. It will take a USB input. Here's the USB. See, okay. I'm watching the focus on here. Both kinds of USB and the SD card, or the option of going to mode here, FM, SD or Bluetooth or line in, and an on-off switch depending on whether you want to keep it on all the time or you just want to enable it when there's a problem. Let's take a look at the schematic. All right, here we go. I'll try to go through this quick. If you want to do a screenshot to copy it, fine. I'll give you a good view of that so you can probably get a screenshot, do a screen grab if you need to. Sorry, the schematic isn't completely finished. I haven't done the documentation for the radio station yet, but that's coming. All right, basically, really quick. We come in on the console feed over to a relay. This opto is normally closed, but when this transistor switch here sees signal from the console, it turns on, and here's the timing capacitor. We come down here, and there's all the times you have, up to 15 seconds. That comes in and enables the relay, which goes from normally closed to normally open. This coil relaxes. The wiper comes to here, all the way down, and line out. If this switch fails, this goes normally closed, this slams over, and it picks up the recorder backup, which is this module here we've been talking about. That comes in, that gets connected directly to the line out over here. Let's see if we can follow that right up. It's hard to do on the screen. The indicator circuits, we're going to flash the green to know that it's working. Yellow means standby mode. Same down here. All right. And the purpose of the unit, NOAA issues an alert. We got the Hurricane Dorian coming. I hope it doesn't, but we'll get an alert here. It's going to flip this switch. This is now normally open. It's going to close. The relay is going to slam in through this level control and give us a feed to the line out. This is an LH1501. These are normally closed. They're nice, inexpensive chip and fail-proof. They really work for a long. I've got many of these, dozens of them in service. This is an LH1500, which is the standard normally open. It needs a signal here to close business and make things happen. If you were doing this without relays, you could do it with another opto switch instead of the relay. I prefer hard contacts because I don't like to send audio signal through as many more junctions, solid state junctions, than you have to. So I use the old mechanical relay. I have built these with optos, and they work. I think the dynamic range is somewhat limited when you do that, though. And notice here too, in the active state for the when you lose the console, you got to feed out. This is power over to the recorder, so it automatically triggers up the backup music, the canned music, yesterday's program, last Saturday's news, whatever, and tells you what's going on, red or green, we're active or not. Okay. Boy, that was an unorganized production, but there you go. This is the switcher. I'm going to use it in ham radio. I'm going to have my primary station here. On the emergency, I'm going to have our local talk-in frequency, 146.58. And for backup, I may just have an AM broadcaster in there so that if nothing's going on the air, I'd say I'm on 80 meters at night and we're in between calls or something, the music kicks in automatically. I'll be able to listen to that. Or my local AM or FM station for news, traffic, weather. And if the repeater ever acts up absolute dominance, this thing trumps everything else. This will kick in and I could hear the repeater. Maybe the scanner, maybe the police scanner. I don't know. but it's found its way into a ham shack. So we'll have updates on this as it goes. I want to thank you for listening. We went real long. Website www.bobsamerica.com and my YouTube channel in1KPR. Thank you for looking.